Okay, we're going to get started here because we want to hear from you. We want to leave enough time where we can hear from you. I hope there's enough seats for everybody. So just, move in towards the center and leave enough room on the aisles. There you go. People on the audio will never know. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate your presence very much. We have a whole lot to share with you, but I want to let the people doing the actual work do most of the sharing. I'm Roger Lamb with Disciples Today, and I want to give you a little background on how DT Heart and Soul got started and bring you up to date, and then Chris and Lian are going to fill you in with more information. Then we want to hear questions that you have and any comments that you'd like to make also. Let's start with a prayer. Father, thank you so much for your love for us. Thank you for how you care for us. Thank you for the new life you've given us and how you give us new life every day. Thank you, Father, for the fulfillment we have in Jesus. Thank you for the forgiveness. Thank you for the purpose and our mission. Help us now as we focus on heart and soul. Thank you for giving this wonderful tool, and just help us know how to use it better and better. We love you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Sort of the little history of DT Heart and Soul. Several years ago, a married couple, approached us and said, we have a real heart for the singles in our churches who want to get married but have not been able to find a spouse, and we'd like to help them find others. And so we'd like to donate a large amount of money to help you build an online dating site that would be for our members in our churches. And do you think that's possible? I said, well, I have no idea, but we'll go check it out. So I don't know if you guys know Jonathan Hogard or not, but Jonathan was a long-term volunteer with us, and he was in the educational technology, etc., and was working on a PhD in digital media, and led this department at the University of Dubai in the Emirates. I said, Jonathan, help me figure this out. So we sat down, put up a business plan, came back to them, showed it to them. They took about 15 minutes, said, absolutely, let's do it. So we built that, it ran, it introed in 2009, and then we had to get people used to the idea of online dating, because everybody was scared of online dating for very good reasons. And we had to convince them, no, that we're not that online dating. This is our online dating. And of course, the security that we provide is we verify each person is a member in good standing in their local church and is commended by their leadership as they should be on the site. And so that is the protection we provide that you just can't get anywhere else on any other kind of thing. So I went to like 14 or 15 different singles conferences around the country, Canada, etc., trying to get this idea out and get people to jump in the pool. And we got a few brave souls to jump in immediately. Others were watching them swim, see if they did all right, and then would jump in after them now and then a few people got pushed in the pool and decided to swim too. And but you know that the culture's changed a lot. In America, last year, 20% of the marriages were from people who met each other online. This is just becoming a much bigger thing. Now, so there's good and bad of it. We're trying to do is take the bad out of it and keep the good, because what it does is it broadens your pool of the people you're able to meet. And some folks say, well, I'd just rather go to a conference and meet people. And you should. That's awesome. This isn't to replace fellowship or person-to-person contact. The fact, though, is even this weekend, how many people are you going to be able to have deep, meaningful conversations with? You're going to be around 2,500 singles, but there's a limited amount of time to meet everybody. So this gives you the opportunity over every day to meet new people and build relationships, etc. So that's the concept behind it. Since then, the software vendor that we used had a huge shift in their personnel and lost one of their key people, and then the tool started not working well. So we had to redo the website. And so I put out a bid for it, said to some people to say, would you rebuild this website? It is so involved because of all the algorithms of the matching and all this stuff. The bid I got back was for $500,000. I said, okay, this is not good. And so Chris Walquist, who's our chief tech guy, volunteer with Disciples Day on so many levels. He's in Chicago. We were in Chicago together, and I was bemoaning this fact and whining to him. And he says, well, my company's teaching me this brand new platform language, and would you mind if I took a shot at rebuilding it myself in my spare time for free? Wow. I said, well, let me pray about it. Okay, let's do it. Let's go with it. So Chris rebuilt it in his spare time, and it's better than it's ever been. It's just amazing how good it is. And then he now runs the site with the help of two other people. With a lot of help. And Lian Fowler came on as a volunteer for Disciples Today and has now become our assistant editor for Disciples Today, posts all of our articles, et cetera, et cetera. Just been a lifesaver to me. And she also works with Heart and Soul, does a lot of stuff with it, and she's just been a jewel. She's in Portland, Maine on a church planting up there. Then there's a great, oh, your dad's not here. There's a great brother in the Orange County church said, hey, my daughter used to work for eHarmony as a marketing specialist. And she's not in our church, but she would really like to help. She has her own marketing company now. So would you mind if talking to her? So we contacted Jessica. This is Jessica. And she has just been amazing, what she's brought to us and the insights and so on, and the campaigns and just the excellence with which she does things. So this is a powerful team here with these three, what they're doing. And I oversee it, but basically these guys do all the work. So I'll take all the credit and they do all the work. And no, seriously, they're amazing. So our we now have 650 people on the site, which is a high. It's never had that many. And the male-female ratio is the best it's ever been, too. Right now, it really is better than the ratio among our singles ministries and our churches, actually. So they're doing a great job there. So that's the history, but I don't want to take any more time. I want Lian to tell you some of the impact that Disciples, DT Heart and Souls had, and then Chris is going to share some more things, and then we'll all be available to answer your questions. Amen? All right. Oh, yes.
Or I can just stand right here. No, you guys don't really need the mic, but someone needs it. Oh, okay. Hi, good morning. Like Roger said, my name is Lian Fowler. I'm in Portland, Maine, and for the last year, I've had the privilege of working with DT Heart and Soul, and I'm sharing a little bit about just the impact of DT Heart and Soul, and I can share from it personally for me the impact that has been made on me by getting to know people on the site and getting to talk to the couples who start dating and get engaged and get married. And I'm sure many of you have read or seen the different testimonial stories on the site, and one of the main parts of my job is to track down couples who find each other, interview them, get them to tell their story, and then either I write it up or they write it up and I post it everywhere and all over your Facebook groups. And it's just been so powerful to me to hear time and time again the different ways that God can work to bring people together. And if you've read those stories, I'm sure your heart has been moved, but my heart has been moved so much to see and to hear how God has brought people from all different parts of the world through all different kinds of life circumstances and help them to find each other and to find love. And I'm not naturally a romantic person, but this process has made me love romance and get carried away with it. And we've had 15 marriages so far, 5 of them from March until August. Right now we have 2 engaged couples, and we have anywhere from 4 to 6 to 10 couples dating right now. One couple just started dating this week. Another couple got engaged this week, and it's just so encouraging. This summer, like we just kept hearing, week after week, some other couple was getting married or sending us their story, and it is just so powerful to see that God is not limited, by our conceptions. I grew up in the church, and it was very much this idea that this is the plan. It has to be, and you have to start dating here, and then you do this, and then you get married, and that's the plan. And the older I get, which is not very old yet, but the older I get and the longer I'm a disciple, the more I realize God is so much bigger than that, and He can work through anything, and all kinds of geography and life circumstances, and bring people together. And so that's really what's blown me away about the site, and getting to talk with people and hear their stories. And what is our hope, in doing this, is that more and more people have that chance to be able to connect to each other. And it's not a promise, it's not a guarantee. No dating site can do that, but I believe if we can offer people a great resource and another way for them to meet each other, you guys deserve that. And that's our heart, is to give people another way for God to connect you to each other. That's all I have to say. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, you forgot the other impact of our
Oh, and one very exciting piece of news is that on Friday we had our first DT Heart and Soul baby. The very first couple who got married through our site, Paul and Ida Algren, they just had a baby on Friday, and so we are so happy for them, and we're looking forward to many more.
Thank you, Lian. All right. So there's a scripture somewhere in the Bible that says, in his heart a man plans his course, but the Lord determines his steps. I probably should know it, but I didn't have time to look it up. So it's in there. That's the way I feel, is that, I had my plans, but God has determined steps in a way that I never would have imagined. And at first that scripture sort of made me feel a little bit, I don't know, I have an anti-authority bias or something, I guess, but God's steps have been so much better than any steps I could have ever imagined. So I feel like I'm in this crazy, wonderful story that's going on full force right now, especially with DT Heart and Soul. So yeah, Lian and Jessica have been truly tremendous to work with. I haven't told them this, but my eyes sort of glaze over when they start talking about channels and life cycle marketing, and they start using the word creative as a noun, and I'm like, okay, you guys know what you're talking about, and let me know when you need me to jump in there and do something. So it gets done. It's fantastic. So a little bit about me. I grew up on a farm as an atheist. Didn't become a Christian until college. That's another great story, but definitely was not the plan I had starting out. But it's just been it's wonderful to get to be here and say, what am I doing in the singles ministry? It's my first singles conference. Been married 23 years, and first singles conference. It's going great. So I have some things that I want to cover. We won't have time for them probably, but we'll get through as much as we can. There's a couple more people I want to tell you about that are on the DT Heart and Soul team. This is Igor Petrov and Irina and their kids. Their kids are not on the team as far as I know. But, Igor is, and he's actually helping another brother translate the site into Russian. So that's something that's somebody coming along, hopefully by the end of this year. This is the other brother is at the bottom here. This is Ken Wong. So you've got an English site with a Chinese brother helping a Russian translate it into Russian. So I think that's pretty cool. Ken was recently baptized. He's very, very high energy. And my wife is also Hong Kong, so I understand my wife a little better now, seeing Ken and kind of the way he operates. There's a lot of energy. This is another member of our team. On the left is Ann Schaub. She's our business administrator and pays our bills and makes sure that we turn in our receipts and all the things you wouldn't think of otherwise, and much more besides. So this was originally titled 10 Things to Know About Using DT Heart and Soul, but I got stuck on the first one, so I changed it to 5 things to know. Because, we had an idea that we would look through our profile pictures and use our own profile pictures instead of some stock iPhoto, representation of disciples. And it turns out there aren't that many good profile pictures on our site. I looked through many pictures, and so I think there's a need to talk about profile pictures, and I'm sure nobody in this room has to hear about it. But if your friends have a bad profile picture, now you'll know what to tell them to get help with it. So what's a bad profile picture? One is one that's not there. If you don't have a profile picture, that's the worst kind to have. There was a brother. I don't know if anybody knows Takashi Kagawa, who is now married. Okay, he said on the site, actually his testimony is on there about his story. He says, my number 1 match did not have a profile picture, so I figured Karen, who was her number 2 match, at least put in some effort, and I sent her a message. So that was his view of having a profile picture. No selfies. No selfies. I won't ask for a show of hands as to who has a selfie on their profile picture, but it just doesn't go quite right. So no selfies, no dark glasses. Eyes are the windows to the soul. So I don't know what's going to happen to this guy. Car selfies. Don't know what's going on there, but it's amazing how many car selfies I see, even on the site. Photo in a crowd, that's another problem as well. Don't do this. Yeah. Send me a message. Or a far away photo. Putting yourself out there, right? What else do we got? Oh, so this is a little harder. You have to maybe work a little bit with the site or get some back and forth with tech support to get this right. But you want to use a larger picture. The site takes care of keeping the aspect ratio right, so it doesn't get stretched or too wide. But if you use a small picture, then a picture like this is my daughter. She's awesome. Can turn into something like that, which just isn't the same effect, So if you see it coming out like this, send mail to support and send your picture along, and we'll help you get it up there. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, the bathroom mirror selfie. I can't recall if I've seen this, but just in case, you don't want one of those. I don't think that's somebody on the site. I don't.
Especially if it was his profile picture. He deserves it to be the internet.
So here's a profile picture. I mean, that's is that a good profile picture? It's from a legal site. It's a partner in the law firm, so they thought it was worth putting a little bit of effort into their profile pictures, apparently. There's a lot out there about profile pictures. I mean, you can Google, online dating profile pictures, and you'll get so much research, and because there's actually a lot of money attached to it as well for most dating sites. And so there's a rich resource on the internet of, what you can think about. I think the most important thing is just to think about it. Put some thought into it. Get some input, from people who know you. We believe in having people in our lives, and boy, is this a place where you want to have somebody in your life, is your first impression. You want to do it right.
Are you recommending with friends?
No. A lot of research says there's indications there's an effect where the composite of a group of people you're with, if it's a good group of people, I'm assuming.
But how do they know who you are?
Well, that's something we have to work on. We want to put more profile pictures on there, so we're going to work on that. If that's in place, then the effect of having your picture with friends is that there's a compositing effect that takes place when you look at a bunch of people, and you sort of look better than you would by yourself sometimes. So that's the effect they're talking about there. Yes, Jack?
Okay, I gotta throw in on that, and I disagree with that one. I've seen a couple different sisters' profiles with more than one person in there. I pass right by, because I have no clue what I'm looking at.
There's a lot of wrong ways to do it, especially with the way our site is right now with only one profile picture. If there's more than one, it sort of takes care of that effect.
It should always be the person.
Yeah, right now we should have one on there. I mean, that's where we're at with the site. Left side is better. I don't know why. That's what they say. I don't know if that is changing if you're left-handed or right-handed. Yes.
I just had a question. Do you guys, if there's no profile picture, are you the guys that populate photos and just have pictures put over? Because I'm like, there's no picture. I do think about that also.
I think there's like a picture of Colorado mountains or something.
Populates if somebody doesn't put a profile
It's not random. There's just one that goes up there, just so that it's not a blank space. But it's like, the most impersonal picture you could imagine. It's a great picture. I love Colorado landscape. So yeah, they say women should smile, men shouldn't smile. Some research says that men with outdoor shots have 19% more messages, and women with outdoor shots have 40% fewer messages. I don't know if that's that website has the quarter on what really happens there, but again, just go, do some research of your own and go with what you find. Just be intentional about it. So let's see, more stuff. Yeah, don't crop others out. That's a turnoff if you've got like somebody else's hair on your shoulder, is in the photo or was, and you don't want to be a person that crops people out of your life, right? And that's the impression that's communicated. Doing something interesting, recent photo. And I talked about, the ideal size. This is what renders on the site is 480 pixels wide by 600 pixels tall. So if your dimensions of your picture are at least, outside those dimensions are bigger, then it will be a good high profile shot. I thought that was an awesome profile picture. You may know this person. Anybody recognize this person? She's on the site. Davina, I believe her name is. And at first I thought, wow, that's she's very beautiful. But then I thought, she's done things to actually present herself, to put her best out there, which is what you want to do in a profile picture on a site like this. Good lighting. It's not a selfie. It's the right resolution. I mean, I pulled this directly off. I didn't. That's the resolution that she put up there. It's a simple setup, so it just takes everything out of the way that could be in the way, right? And that's what you're after. Or maybe it's because she's from Hawaii. I don't know. But I thought that was a good example. So that's profile picture. Other four things. Do your profile. Brother had a great point that probably we haven't done a good job getting out there, but there's a Match Me button on the left-hand side. And if you feel like you need to work on your profile before you put it out there, you can turn Match Me off, and nobody will see your profile until you're ready. We're going to make that part of our initial email communication to new members. But you can do that, and it's just another thing you want to get advice about. Another great idea about this we got yesterday was that it would not be hard at all for us to put a feature in where you could pass a link to your friends to look at your profile, give you some feedback.
Yeah.
You know, it expires after a week. It's a confidential link, but it would be another way for you to, you know, make sure you're on the right track with this profile thing.
Would that include the photo, Chris?
Yeah, it would be everything. Like here's what you'd see if you were another member on the site. It would be just the site itself. It'd be exactly what's there.
They just have no access except to that page.
Correct. They would just see your profile, and the link would just be only people with that particular link would be able to see your profile. So it's something you could email around to trusted people, and it expires after a week. You know, so it wouldn't be out there forever if you had any issues.
Send that one to Jessica so she can...
To Jessica? Actually, Lian was the most passionate about this whole profile thing, so if you wanted to talk to her afterward, you might be able to persuade her to help you out. So making lots of connection requests. I know this is kind of a site etiquette issue, and you know, it's hard to if you want someone to initiate, to be the one to initiate. It's, you know, there's a lot going on in those dynamics, but I think the most successful people on the site have been the ones that have made a lot of connection requests and have just, you know, you've got to swing at the ball if you're going to hit it, ultimately.
Would you recommend a connection request before sending an initial email? I know it sounds really silly, but I've done both. And
I don't know. Does anybody else have any?
I was just talking to a brother about that yesterday, and he said that he felt a little pressured when he got the just friends request, and that he didn't know this person at all. So he felt like maybe at least an email saying, "Hi, who are you?" or "How are you?" or something before "Be my friend."
Just like on Facebook, you know? Yeah. It's like if someone from the past wants to connect with you, and then you connect with them, and you don't even know them, you're like, okay, why would you bother? Or give me a note and tell me how you rate, you know?
That's the point, if you go simultaneously.
Yeah.
Send a message and then request. Hi, I know you're a minister up there, you used to be here. You know, then send this request. Or when you receive one that doesn't have a message, when you respond, send them, just correct it, you send the message.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Or at the very least, when you send the initial message, just point blank. Hi, I'm Amy. We were matched up by DTHS. Want to talk? You know?
There's a question in the back. Oh, let me see if I can flip over and show one.
I can pull up my side.
So here's me. So I'm Mr. Testman on the site. Sister got really upset at first. She thought I was, you know, somebody just messing around on the site, and but she understood I was this is a developer. You have to give him some grace. Okay, I may have to connect up there for a minute. Let me do that, and while I'm doing that, I'll come back to that.
It's just like a friend request. You know,
Yeah, I'll demonstrate one. There's actually.
I have it on my phone if you want me to show it to you.
I need to connect anyway to do some. I want to do a couple of demos here, so let me quickly turn on my phone and hope that it works for hotspotting. So connection request. Come back to that. Wanted to go over a little bit about how matching works.
Tack on one thing on that connection request. I think
Is this being recorded, Roger?
what we're hearing a lot from a lot of the guys is they get overwhelmed at the number of connection requests, and so they just freeze. So my personal recommendation to sisters would be to be consistent, but a few at a time, and then don't do 100 at once or whatever. And our ratio, as you know, it's like 2.8 to 1, which is the best it's ever been. But it'd be like a guy walks in and all the sisters want to go over and talk to him. He's just going to freeze. So, I would just be wise in pacing yourself. And then also, anybody, guy or girl, I would show interest in the other person and what they're interested in. And that's what all of us, that's really how you build a relationship anyway. But I think we just got to be real careful and wise about that. For the guys, I tell them, look, these are just people saying hi. Don't freeze up. A lot of people want to say hi. You always wanted to be popular. So, just say hi back. That's all this means is hi. And so I think we got to get the expectation level there and then see where it goes. And then pray and just see what happens.
Great, thank you, Roger.
I love the categories that they have, the just friends, being acquainted, and what was the other one? Just friends?
Dating, engaged, and married.
Okay. First of all, I think that's awesome because I make sure that every request I send out, I include just friends, because that way everybody knows, it's like, look, I'm just trying to get to know you. I'm not trying to date you right now. I just want to know what you're about. And I think a lot of people don't understand, even the documentation that they've done is really good on the site about it. I still think people lack the understanding what that means. So if we as individuals help teach each other back and forth, hey, just friends means just friends. It's just like going to a conference and saying, hey brother, hey sister, no commitment whatsoever. People don't understand that yet. They're still trying to wrap their head around it.
Great, thank you. So back to connection request for a moment. So here's the matches page. Oh, that's an interesting effect there. Haven't seen that. Let's just pretend that's not happening and go to this this match here. So this is what, if you were to send a link of your profile, this is what someone would see. So this is a new profile, doesn't have a picture yet, doesn't have much filled out. The connection request would be one of these links here. So actually one of these two links. So you could either request to be just friends, or you could request to get acquainted. If you click it, it says, here's what you're doing by saying just friends. And if you still want to do that, then you click request at this point. And then it goes out, and then Cicely receives it, and she can decide whether to respond yes or no at that point. So I'm just going to cancel that because that would be confusing otherwise. So that is a connection request. What was I going to show next? How matching works. Anybody not completely understand how matching works? Okay. All right. So 3 of you. Okay. Sure.
As far as the sense of, it's only for ICOC members?
Yes. It's only for ICOC members who have been verified as a member in good standing in their local congregation by a full-time staff person or someone in a similar level of trust. So, and that person has said yes, this person is in my opinion qualified to be on the site. This is they're good to be on this site. So that's that's one of the biggest value adds of the site is that you at least know something about some base level of safety that somebody knows this person. They're not just saying this completely out of the blue. So how matching works. So that's something that's easier to show than to describe in text, I think. So this is not to say is how it ought to work all the time. This is just how it works now. So this is kind of the site as it is now. And the site as it is now, first off, all the brothers are matched with all the sisters that are active on the site.
Maybe for their sake, you should go through the steps. When somebody comes on the site, what happens?
Oh, like when you
To
first
get to this point.
first go to the point. Sure, that's a great thought. So if you've logged in and you have your home page here, there may not be any of this here yet. There might be some requests that have come in if you're all verified and you have completed the survey, the matching profile.
They may not know about the survey.
The matching survey. So I don't know if I can show the.
You can just explain.
Yeah. So when you first come on and you've just registered, you will immediately be taken to an explanation of what the next step is, which is to fill out a 150 or so question personality profile. Which the feedback we've been getting generally is that this is a very thorough personality profile. That there's more to say about that in a little bit, but it's a thorough profile, and you pretty much you do have to go through that before you can be matched with anybody. That's the basis of our getting a footprint in the matching mechanism. So you go through that, you complete that, then there's an overnight job that runs. It doesn't come back right away just because of some technical architecture, not issues, but the way that the site is constructed. So then the next day you come back and it will be there, and you'll be able to click on this matches link, and you will see the matches. And the default presentation of the matches is in decreasing order of percentage match. So this is a number that the third-party provider that we use for these surveys comes up with, and they do a cross-matching analysis, and they boil all these different factors down into one number. So take it with a huge grain of salt. A huge grain of salt. It's just an indicator, not a determiner of your future. Just an indicator, just a tool. And so that's why there's at least some percentage match with every other person of the opposite gender on the site, that's active. So you'll see that, and you can filter by different criteria up at the top. You can, I'll talk about this a little bit. This is a potentially confusing topic, the age range. There's two aspects to the age range. One is the age range you're searching here that I'm showing you right now. The other is the age range that you allow yourself to be searched by. And that is something you control on the home page, or from the home page, under your account information. So if you want to narrow who can see you down to a more narrow search range than the default, you can choose your matching age range from here. So if I say within 3 years and update, then only people within 3 years of my age will be able to see me when they match, no matter what they're searching for. Does that make sense? So that was a very important feature. So, okay, so yeah, there's some other criteria on there. If there's somebody is on here, you can go and search by their name or their username, and if all those other parameters are overlapping with your search, then they'll show up. If they are outside of their age range, like if you're 50 and they're 20 and they've limited it to 5 years, and you can't see them until they expand their matching range. I'll go through actually a survey result that will show us all exactly what the demographics are. So that's coming up. Good question. The profile itself, let me talk about that a little bit. So we get an occasional request to retake the survey. And the survey is a personality survey as opposed to a character survey. So as disciples, our character should be changing. We should always be growing in Christ, and our character develops, and that's the way God works with us. Our personality is relatively stable. It's amazing how you take these Briggs-Meyer tests and different personality tests. They are amazingly bang on from year to year. I've taken the Briggs-Meyer test 3 times, and it's the same every time. There's 50 questions, and I just think it has to be different, but it's not. So don't stress out that it's been 5 years since I've taken the survey and I'm a different person now. You are a different person, but your personality is probably not that much different. You can retake it if there really maybe some misunderstanding of some of the questions. And we've also seen a glitch or two in the survey as well. So if you see that happening, if like every match you have is storm clouds, for a particular trait, then it may be the survey. So let us know about that. But in general, again, the survey is just an indicator. It's not deterministic. Conversation starter at most. We haven't done this analysis, but I think at least some of our married couples were not very high matches at all. So as far as we know, they're doing great.
What was that comment that you just said, Chris?
As far as we know, they're doing great. Yes. So that's that. Survey results. So we, about a week ago, sent the 20-question survey to everybody who had RSVP'd to the mixer, which was about 330 people. So we figured they had a vested interest in DT Heart and Soul, as expressed by that participation. So I just wanted to quickly go through some of the results that we saw from that survey. About 100 people by Wednesday had responded, so we thought we had a pretty good feel for where people were at. So this is not the first question on the survey, but I think this is one of the most important questions we asked, which has to do with what we're thinking of doing with the site, and that is to expand the scope of the interests that we've been sort of marketing for. So the original purpose of the site is going to remain the same, which is that it's for people that want to engage eventually in a long-term relationship that could lead to marriage. That's the baseline goal of the site. However, people are at all different points on that journey, and that's the reality with the membership now. But we don't have a very good way to express that at the moment, and so it leads to some awkward or contentious conversations here and there. So we want to do what we can to sort of sidestep that issue, and also to open up the site to more people that may be put off by the wording that's there at this moment is on the front of the site, which is for people who are ready and serious, about going into a marriage relationship. You may be ready to enter that trajectory, but you may not be ready to graduate yet, right? You're just signing up for one-on-one classes. So this is what this question was about: is where are you at on this spectrum of your feelings about this journey? So we asked this, and this is where people put themselves. As we expected, there were a range. Not everybody was down at the last choice. I would like to meet someone and get married as soon as possible. Very small amount were actually there. So the next question we put out was, okay, we want to expand the site in the way that I just described, using criteria that is substantially the same as the criteria we just asked you about, which is anywhere from, I want to meet people, become friends first, see what happens, or maybe I'm interested in finding someone to date but not get serious too soon, or I'm looking for someone with whom I can build a long-term relationship before long, or I would like to meet someone and get married as soon as possible category. So what do you feel about that? So we said, do you want us to do it or not? And here was the results. So, the 3, 4, and 5 were all toward, at least neutral toward, yeah, let's do this right away. So that made up 88% of our survey. That said, we should at least think about it and probably go ahead and do it. So that I thought that was pretty a fairly compelling mandate. But then we also asked, well, what else do you think about this idea? And we got a lot of comments about just how we should do this. So that was very useful, and if anyone in here participated in that, we're grateful, because it is something we want to do right, and we want to make sure that we're hitting the need just where it is. So one aspect of the feedback that came back was that we should not allow just one choice. We should allow people to select 0, 1, or multiple of those choices. Also, that you can change the choice at any time because you may be in different places on different days or weeks. Life happens.
Are you talking about for the survey?
I'm talking about for this particular feature that we're thinking about with the level of interest.
Survey, I would have liked some non-applicable on some of the things, choices.
Survey's not ours. Yeah, it's a psychological survey based on research that we didn't do, so we don't really have much say in what goes in that. We did take a few questions out that were pretty obnoxious, but besides that, we let them do that. But yeah, this is about this feature. So on the one hand, you could optionally put yourself in 0 or more of the categories that we're talking about. On the other hand, if you're searching for somebody, you can search based on these categories or not, right? So this is not about hiding or showing yourself. This is just about giving other members another way to connect with you, if that makes sense. Good question?
Do you recommend that we communicate with matches the highest percentage?
I think it's just an indicator. Yeah, I think you need to look at their profile and talk with them and pray about it and get advice. And I mean, I think there need to be other people involved in your relationships that you pursue on this site. I think if you're going at it on your own, it's not going to go nearly as well as if you have people that, I mean, I would, if it were me, I would show them the conversations I'm having with different people in the messaging and ask their advice, And of course, I think be open with the person on the other side that you're getting advice about your conversations. So there, there's no weirdness about that. But okay. So other questions? How did you hear about DT Heart and Soul? This is interesting to me that on the one hand, a lot of people heard about it at church-related events, but subsequent questions thought that there was almost no press in church-related events about DT Heart and Soul. So we've got to think about that one a little bit. This was interesting. Way over on the 70% range, people took longer than 3 months to act on hearing about DT Heart and Soul. And this was another place where we got a lot of feedback about why. And there's, I think a lot of it was just life events and learning more about the site, and just getting to the point where they thought they should give it a try. So that's so this is the other was what I was referring to here mainly, but yeah, there's just a range of different reasons. I didn't want to be seen is I didn't want to be seen as desperate, if you remember that from the survey. So a lot of people were reluctant for that reason. Here's the demographic question. So there's our demographics with some, of course, some plus or minus statistical variance.
And you said there were 650 people on the site currently?
Yeah, we're up around the 650s right now. So
Do you have demographic ages by minute?
I did not ask that. I could get that out of there, but I don't have it for this presentation. That's a great question. The ratio is 2.5 to 3 to 1 right now. About the same it is for the ISC. But yeah, that's something we're going to have to dig into the data a little bit to find out. This is a question just for brothers, and so we don't have a terrible issue with just driving brothers away, apparently, which is good to know. We know we have work to do. This is another question for men only. That was more outreach in the churches. So this was interesting to us because I thought we would actually do worse in this category than we did. If you were at Jonathan's presentation, he mentioned that mobiles overtook laptops this year for first time. Was it number of devices online or something, Roger? What was it?
I don't know.
But we have a lot of people still using desktops, and so that was higher than I expected. We do need to get more mobile friendly. We're not quite sure how to do it. We have some ideas. We're not doing actually, honestly, as bad as I thought we would be doing in this category. There's a few that really can't stand using it on their mobile, but I thought that number would be larger than it is.
Chris, going back to the question that you, I think the 2 slides before, one more, when it talks about, no, one forward. Right there.
Yep.
When it talks about so financial issue being a concern, is there a way that we might be able to put a donate now on? Like if someone wants to donate to contribute for people that can't afford to be on the site, and then you guys can then work out that sponsorship to ask for support to.
So the key word there is work. we have to. I guess the answer I would put out to that is that's best handled on a local level.
Okay.
Like we just don't have the resources to engineer and.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't necessarily afford a whole one, but like I could contribute towards something. Or
Yeah.
someone or things like that, and just see. And then if someone is in a financial need, then they could request assistance. Like if they can only afford, $50, and it's $100.
Yeah.
We just can't manage that.
Okay.
But there is the gift subscription, and then the local would be the best way.
Yeah. Jack.
With the mobile devices, I would use DTHS on my cell phone 99.9% of the time if it actually worked.
Okay.
I've tried looking through Safari, and the site just like jumps over here, jumps over here, jumps over here. It's like, forget it.
We should talk. Yeah, I'd like to see where that happens. So yeah, we need that. We need to know that. And
Actually, I used to beta test for Microsoft when I was a kid.
so where we're at here, mobile
I
device,
don't mind. Send me whatever you want.
kind of more of the same. One person said they would pay money to see us. I'll have to get in touch with that person. See us do something about that. Didn't ask how much money. Have to find that out. So there's a lot of features that we put out there, and they pretty much all got good press in the survey. Ability to upload more photos, updates to messaging, sorting matches by like when the match happened, conversation starters, and the ability to search for members by interests, either drop-down lists of interest or free text interests. You can put your interests on your profile right now, but there's no way to search by those interests at the moment. So we're thinking about that. So last question, overall experience, it's kind of meh. On average, I think some people had some great experiences. I know they did, and some not so great. So we got some great feedback from the conference about what we can do to use our resources to improve DT Heart and Soul, and in some ways that aren't really that much. They won't take that much work. So that's good to know that we can. There's a few things we can do for a lot of bang. And now these are what we're thinking of for the next steps. I mentioned the Russian translation. That doesn't so much impact you guys probably, but if you want to learn Russian, then it may. Like I said, there's some easy quote unquote tasks from the conference that we can put in place right away that will make a big difference, which is great to know. And then this levels of interest feature, we're going to take a lot of. We had a roundtable yesterday to talk about mostly that. And I think we've got that roundtable is going to be a good working group to help us make sure that we get that right. So we're very excited about working with them to do that. That's all I've got. Any questions or comments?
Going back to the profile picture, will there be an opportunity where we can add more than just one picture?
I'm pretty sure we're going to do that. Yeah, the research indicated that 4 was the magic number for profile pictures. Don't know why, but that's what I'm hearing. So that's something that's not too hard to put onto the profile page for members.
I think 4 would be good as long as the primary one is just the person. like I said, you know, the ones I see with the friends, I'll literally pass right by them because if you don't know who you're talking to, why bother? You know, that's my opinion.
Good point,
on that.
yeah.
You need to repeat the question.
Yeah,
That's where we
Okay.
are.
So the question was,
You know, to be able to add more than one profile picture.
to add more than one profile picture. Yes, that's near the top of our list of things to do. So you should be seeing that coming out. Okay, thank you all for being here. Really appreciate being at the